Hare Krishna, this is Navneet and I welcome you to Vyasa Astro channel once again. What is marriage? Marriage is willpower. Marriage is commitment to live with someone as a partner and partner in all the good and bad times of your life. It is a commitment to take your generation ahead. Over the period of time, I've realized that there are certain amount of problems in every marriage. But what makes it a disastrous event of your life? How do you separate after so many commitments and so much of love and passion? Suddenly you start feeling each other as enemies. There are more than 1 crore cases in the judicial of, in the judicial system of India where people are, fighting cases for separation. Is matchmaking an important part? If you've matched the horoscopes, why are people getting divorced? Why there are separations? Is matchmaking important? What is Tara Matri? What is Nakshatra Matri? What is Bukud Dosha, Nadi Dosha, Karn Dosha, temperament, friendliness? What is this all about? If this is not working, and I've seen horoscopes where there were decent amount of Gunamatri and they're fighting case, in the court. It's a very dirty litigation which is going on. You see, this video will rule out certain things. Is matchmaking important? Yes and no, both. Matchmaking cannot be the criteria which a lot of people take. What about those people, those religions who do not believe in matchmaking? Probably the Sikh Dharam doesn't believe in matchmaking. There are other religions also. All they believe is in their guru, in their knowledge, in their strong willpower to sustain, to stay. But what about those religions who only believe in matchmaking and still suffering? These are the questions that I found, in my mind from last 15 years. And after 15 years of research, I've come to this conclusion that the most important thing in marriage is looking at individual horoscope. Imagine you have 25 out of 36, the score of matchmaking. Fantastic. People will say, oh, go ahead, get married, this, that. But your upcoming dasha is giving you so much of trouble for next 16 years or 18 years or 19 years. And you'll have a very difficult time financially, mentally, psychologically, with health perspective. How will your marriage, be something which is very, very divine or very, very beautiful experience of life? No. I mean, that dream of getting soulmate in your life, that dream of living life together, raising children, and living with those happy moments, it's not going to be there. And, you know, just the criteria of matchmaking doesn't help. It is just an input. It is just one of the verticals where we should think about. We should take an input. Oh, the guna is not matching. Fine. What about the individual horoscope? It is great. Look at the Navamsha. There are techniques in the Navamsha that I'm going to teach where, the avastha means the condition of the seventh lord in the Navamsh Kundli is very, very important. I was also talking to my students yesterday and I was saying that, hey, look at Navamsha, look at the the aspects of benefics on the seventh lord of the Navamsha. See how life after marriage is. See if we have Dvi Vivaha Yoga, 2 marriages. We have remedies for them as well. Oh, there's a Nadi dosha, there'll be a problem with progeny, children. But what about if you have great yogas to have great children and healthy children? I have my own example where, me and my wife, we have almost, negligible gunametri. It's even less than 10. There's Nadi dosha, there's Bakut dosha, and with grace of God, we got healthy children. I mean, of course, there are highs and lows and ups and downs in marriage, but there's a strong willpower, that love, that those strong emotions that, do not accept any interference from any of the families. That's what marriage is all about. We understand priorities. See, the horoscope should be a horoscope that can understand, that can prioritize things. The only problem comes is that mother says you're not prioritizing me. Children says no, he's ignoring me or she's ignoring me. The wife says that I have no priority in your life. Well, if a horoscope has capability to prioritize things, to balance things, even if there's hardly, the match of the mental level, still the marriages can be great. You can still survive with that person. It's when, you lose that willpower. And what are the factors that increase the willpower, first of all? The factors that increase the willpower of a native is your own DNA, your commitment, your mindset. Even children can give you willpower. Suddenly, a lady from your wife becomes children of your mother of your children. Suddenly, a boyfriend becomes father of your son or father of your daughter. That should be the motivation. Is your chart having that aura of or energy of self-motivating yourself and living with that person? Even if you have, certain yogas in the horoscope where, you find yourself in a very, very pity state mentally and psychologically. That's where the marriages doesn't work. If you have very stormy mind, you have a lot of insecurity in your horoscope, the marriages doesn't work. So these are the factors that we have to understand. Matchmaking is just one vertical. Look at the individual horoscope. Look at horoscope for insecurities. Look at horoscope for a very stormy mind. Look at horoscope for longevity. Look at horoscope for financial ups and downs. Look at horoscope for career. And this is what I'm going to teach in a workshop, a 2 days long workshop where we'll discuss about timings of marriage. We'll discuss about the Graha Metri, the Guna Metri, the Lagna Metri, the Chandra Metri, Dwadash Metri, Saptam Metri, Navmansh Metri. Are these things compatible? Is your individual horoscope, has a blessing of a marriage where there'll be ups and downs, but still you will be there for each other. All this matchmaking concept have got a very high priority in 90s and 80s and probably at least, for these 20 years, it will be like on a peak. And that is the time. You look at your parents. How many divorces did you see in 1950s, 60s, or 70s, or even in 80s? This is where, the Jyotish has gone down, where the standard of Jyotish has gone down because people are relying only on one single input, which should not be the criteria, ladies and gentlemen. No. So if you really want to understand, if you know a little bit of Jyotish, basics, what are houses, what are rashis, what are nakshatras, you're all welcomed to our workshop at Rudra Vedic Academy, which is on my third and my fourth Saturday and Sunday, where we are going to discuss all these things in detail, taking various examples where we had very decent amount of guna metri, tara metri, and they had a very the worst litigation and a divorce finally, where there were no horoscopes matching. I mean, it's for like barely. I mean, any pandit or any pandit of a temple or a local pandit will say, no, 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 don't get married. And they had a great married life because their individual dashas for next 15, 20 years were great. I've seen, marriages being broken after 30 years of marriage, 25 years of marriage. How come that? Their children are probably in their early 20s and the parents are getting separated. We have such horoscopes with us to find out what were the reasons. When we learn, how does a marriage break after 25 years of association? We learned that yes, this is the input that we'll see. When I look at a chart now, someone comes and says, "Navneet, can you match this?" So I can match this, but first give me time to individually analyze that chart. If you have worst, yogas, or there are no um, love or grant of happiness in your horoscope, but then you find someone who is in deeply love with you and his or her horoscope is good for marriage and his horoscope is stronger than the yogas of sorrow in your horoscope, you are going to benefit out of it, and vice versa. That's how we should do this matchmaking. And marriage is a commitment, it's a willpower to stay with the person in all odds of life, in all happy moments and bad moments, and accepting the parents, the families, the brothers, the sisters, the cousins. You need to accept them. 90% of the people you'll find would be not of your choice. They'll be, they'll be jealous of you at a particular or a given time. But still, you have to keep your, ears shut. You have to at times also close your eyes. And if you have those yogas in your horoscope, if you are that mature, if you can control your 1 second temperament game, and even if you fight, you have ability to, reconcile. I mean, there are horoscope who has no ability to reconcile, but there are horoscopes who can reconcile, who can come back. Especially, if you have Venus well placed, if you have Mercury well placed, you have ability to reconcile. But then there are certain horoscopes, certain lagnas, certain positions of the planet, certain combinations with respect to each other combinations where people don't reconcile. That's where the problem is. And this is what we are going to discuss in this upcoming workshop. You can enroll, you can become someone who could really guide, and even you can take guidance of your lifetime. This is what I wanted to tell you, that matchmaking is not the criteria. It's one of the inputs. There are several other inputs to stay with someone beside all the odds. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.